The Beehive is a collaborative project that leverages the potential of the PLCnext Technology open ecosystem. The goal is to find new ways to solve complex automation problems in real life with big effects, for the good of the bees. But first we need to understand our bees better. That's why I'm talking to a vet who knows a lot about the dangers bees face.
Kristina, with what kind of diseases are bees battling with?
The bees in this part of the world are predominantly threatened by the American foul brood, as well as high-level infestation by the varroamite, which also causes various virus infections that can harm the bees additionally. And then there are also diarrhea germs, which can weaken the bee colony.
Our PLCnext community project is first and foremost focused on technological solutions. But which medical solutions are there?
There aren't many medical solutions out there yet. Our hands are tied a little bit for different reasons. Regarding the American foul brood, there is a possibility for vaccination, not a shot like you would give humans, but more like an oral vaccination, similar to what was used against polio.
Would vaccination be a good idea against all types of diseases?
Basically, vaccination always is a good idea, but the bees do not have a blood system like we do. That means the bee is not capable of producing antibodies. A promising possibility to treat bees against mite infestation is to apply formic acid and oxalic acid. Those substances are evaporated in certain concentrations at specific time intervals.
You mentioned earlier the varroamite as a serious threat to the bees. We have a cute little mock-up here. Where would the mite most likely place itself? What is its favorite spot?
You can actually see it quite nicely. This red dot, located up here in the head and chest area, like a rider who's coming along for a flight. They sit there because they're not only protected against falling off or being wiped off, but also safe from other bees, as the wings are in their way. They also like to sit there because they ultimately want to get to the hemolymph of the bee, the blood, so to speak. And it's much easier to access the blood in areas where the carapace or exoskeleton is not so thick. The transition points from one segment to the other are much better suited for that than sitting on the very back, where the bee is protected the best. So that's why they sit up there.
You've already explained that you can spot the mite on top of the bee quite well. What other impacts or indications of infestation can you notice on the bee?
The varroamite is implicating various diseases. Some of them you can identify by looking at the dead bees, which are falling to the bottom of the hive. Then you can see, for example, that their wings are not fully developed. The bee is merely crawling on the ground because it cannot fly anymore, but also because there might be another virus which paralyzes the bee, and that's why they crawl around more or less helplessly, unable to get going at the flight hole.
So the question is, what can be done against this mite, for example? What kind of technological solutions come to your mind?
I can imagine that it would make sense to work with cameras and artificial intelligence to create neuronal networks. If those systems could be designed to not only recognize the mite, but also notice wing deformations. Perhaps it's even possible to place infrared cameras into the hive so that infestations can be detected inside the brood. That way, the beekeeper is one step ahead rather than waiting to make assumptions based on dead bees.
What kind of expectations or hopes do you have towards the PLCnext community? What areas would make the most sense to work on?
I'm hoping that those individuals who can calculate and code really well are able to achieve what us physicians cannot. We're capable of gathering data, they're capable of connecting. In other words, I think it would be great if they could utilize cameras, neuronal networks, infrared cameras, and other tools to learn about the bee life and their threats at a very early stage. I'm also hoping that they use already existing data on weight, temperature, sun hours, time of day, and combine that with some sort of artificial intelligence to monitor the occurrences, not only at the flight hole, but also inside the hive. The result would be statistics on typical activities and behaviors. That way, the beekeeper has a checklist with which he or she can determine whether a beehive is healthy and ready to go, and pollinize the apple orchard. It's also important to track how many bee populations are in the vicinity of the hive. The ultimate goal is to have the healthy bee colonies fly out and pollinate, while the ill ones are cured at home.
So only the bees are allowed to fly out on vacation.
Exactly.
And now it's your turn. Do you have ideas on how automation, apps or specific software can allow bees to live a happy and healthy life? Then join our innovative PLCnext community project and check out all the other videos.